In ancient Israel, during the reign of King Saul, the Israelites faced their formidable enemies, the Philistines. A panoramic view of ancient Israelite and Philistine armies facing each other across a valley, with banners fluttering and soldiers in traditional armor. From the Philistine ranks emerged Goliath, a giant warrior towering over 9 feet tall, clad in heavy bronze armor. Goliath, an imposing figure in bronze armor, standing confidently with a massive spear, challenging the Israelite army. For 40 days, Goliath taunted the Israelites, demanding a champion to fight him. Goliath shouting across the battlefield, Israelites looking fearful and hesitant. David, the youngest son of Jesse, was a shepherd sent to deliver food to his brothers in the army.
Today we're going deep on a story I bet you think you know. But trust me, there's a lot more to this one than meets the eye. We're talking, of course, about David and Goliath. Ancient Israel, epic showdown.
A story that's been told and retold for millennia.
Exactly, and that's kind of the point, right? Why is this story still so powerful, even after all this time? What makes it so enduring?
Well, that's exactly what we're here to unpack. We're looking at the historical context, the military strategies, the psychology of this whole confrontation.
And it's not just some simplified Sunday school version. We're going straight to the source material, bringing in all those details that really make this story come alive. So let's set the scene. It's ancient Israel, tense standoff between the Israelites and the Philistines. 2 armies face to face, but it all boils down to these 2 champions. On one side, you have Goliath, this massive, intimidating warrior.
Goliath, yeah, we're talking like over 9 feet tall.
9 feet tall. I mean, just picture that for a second. Clad head to toe in bronze armor. You've got to wonder, how much did that armor even weigh?
Hundreds of pounds, easily. It's like walking tank.
It's hard to even wrap your head around. So he's this imposing figure, no doubt. But what made him truly terrifying, I think, was the psychological impact. 40 days he marched out and taunted the Israelites day after day.
Psychological warfare at its finest. That's gonna wear on you, right? Imagine the dread, the feeling of helplessness. You see this giant mocking your army, your god.
Yeah, that's not just physical intimidation anymore. That's getting right into your head. It's designed to break you before the fight even begins.
That's right, and it works. No one dared to challenge Goliath. The Israelites were paralyzed by fear. They're experienced warriors, but they're up against something they've never seen before.
Right, it's like that feeling of being completely overcome by a problem, right? When something just seems insurmountable.
Exactly. I mean, have you ever felt like that? Like you're facing your own personal Goliath?
Well, absolutely. And I think that's part of why this story resonates with so many people, right?
Yeah.
Because we've all had those moments where we feel like we're up against impossible odds.
It's that universal feeling of facing a challenge that seems way bigger than us.
Okay, so we've got Goliath, this embodiment of fear and intimidation. And then you have David, a young shepherd. Not exactly battlefield material, you might think.
Yeah. I mean, he's out there tending sheep, right? Not training for war.
But here's the thing. David hears Goliath's challenge, and he's not buying into the fear that's gripped everyone else. He's actually outraged. He sees this Philistine giant defying the God of Israel.
He's got this incredible faith, this unwavering belief that God will deliver him.
It's interesting, right? The contrast there. Experienced soldiers are cowering, and this young shepherd is stepping up.
It's like he's seeing something they're not. He's not focused on Goliath's size or reputation. He's focused on doing what's right, defending his people, and trusting in God.
It's about more than just physical strength, isn't it? It's courage, conviction, refusing to be defined by your circumstances.
Exactly. David's not letting fear dictate his actions.
And this is where the story gets even more interesting. So King Saul, he tries to outfit David in his own armor, give him the best protection, the best weapons.
It doesn't quite work out. It's too big, too heavy. David can barely move in it.
It's almost comical, right? This young guy trying to walk in this giant's armor. But it makes a bigger point, I think. David realizes he can't fight Goliath's way. He has to fight his own way.
It shows this adaptability, this understanding of your own strengths and limitations.
So he goes back to what he knows. His shepherd staff, his sling, and 5 smooth stones. Now, why 5? Why not just 1 stone, 1 shot? What's the significance there?
That's a great question, and there are a few interpretations. Some scholars suggest it's symbolic, representing the 5 sons of Goliath, but...
Okay, yeah, I've heard that too.
Others argue that it simply highlights David's practicality. He's prepared for multiple shots.
It's a battle, right? Things don't always go according to plan.
Yeah, you miss, or you need to take out other threats. Having extra stones just makes sense. Either way, those 5 stones become the symbol of resourcefulness.
It's using what you have, not what you wish you had.
Exactly. And trusting those tools, honing those skills. It's not about fancy weapons or brute force. It's about strategy, accuracy.
Speaking of tools, we can't gloss over the sling. I think a lot of people picture it as a simple kid's toy.
Oh yeah, totally. But in reality, the sling was a deadly weapon, especially in the ancient world.
Really? Deadly how?
Well, it was used for hunting, for warfare. A skilled slinger could launch projectiles with incredible force. We're talking about stones that could break bones, crush skulls.
Wow, okay. That's not a slingshot from the playground.
No, not at all. It required serious skill, practice, precision. And when you look at the descriptions of the battle, it's clear that David's aim was deadly. The stone hits Goliath right in the forehead, a fatal blow.
So this wasn't just luck.
No, it was skill. Years of practice, understanding the mechanics of the sling, judging distance, wind speed. It makes you wonder, what other things do we underestimate because they seem simple or outdated?
Okay, so David wins. Goliath goes down. What happens next?
Well, chaos. The Philistines are completely demoralized. Their champion, this seemingly invincible giant, is dead. And this Israelites, their spirits reignited, they press their attack.
Total momentum shift.
Exactly. But one of the most powerful images from the story is what happens next. David takes Goliath's own sword and
Beheads him.
It's brutal, no doubt, but it's also deeply symbolic. It's about completely eradicating the fear that Goliath represented. Not just defeating him, but destroying the hold he had over the Israelites.
It's sending a message, right? That fear doesn't have power over them anymore.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. If you were an Israelite soldier, watching that happen, the relief, the sense of empowerment, it must have been incredible.
And it goes beyond the battlefield too, right? I mean, this one act of courage, of defying the odds, it ultimately sets David on the path to becoming king. It's almost like this Goliath moment foreshadows his leadership.
It definitely shows a willingness to step up, to make tough decisions, to inspire others, qualities that would serve him well as a leader. It raises a fascinating question, though. What seemingly small challenges are we facing in our own lives that could be crucial steps in our own growth?
That's a good question. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day, right? And overlook those moments where we have a choice. Do we take the easy route or do we challenge ourselves even when it's scary?
Maybe it's speaking up against injustice, pursuing a creative passion, or just choosing courage over comfort.
Right, those everyday Goliaths that we all face. So let's bring it back to the big picture here. What are the key takeaways from this deep dive into David and Goliath? What makes this story so enduring?
Well, I think it's a story about courage, first and foremost. David's willingness to face a seemingly impossible challenge.
And faith too, right? Belief in yourself and something bigger than yourself.
Absolutely. And the importance of resourcefulness. Using what you have, not what you wish you had.
And maybe most importantly, the impact of a single, decisive action. David's choice to face Goliath had ripple effects far beyond that battlefield.
It changed the course of a war, shaped the destiny of a nation.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. What Goliaths are you facing right now? What stones do you have at your disposal? Maybe it's time to take stock of your own strengths, your own unique skills, and face those challenges head on. Don't underestimate the power of a single act of courage.
And never underestimate yourself.
Great talking to you.
Yeah, this is fun.
Until next time.
See ya.